Okay, if you don't have this up here on a scratch sheet of paper, you need to get that on a scratch sheet of paper right now. I feel like I've written that about 10 times and reminded you guys that you're supposed to have it week after week after week. So if you don't have it, you need it right now. Okay, today I'm not doing every one of these with you because we did every one together yesterday. But I'm going to hit some of the highlights for you. So let's see. Let's look at number 2. Write 863.141 in expanded form. Underline expanded form. Now that doesn't say exponents, so I'll get you started. We did some of this yesterday on our work, so I'm not doing every one with you. In fact, I'll do one for you. Okay, put your pencils down and just watch me. Okay, I'm going to pick a different number, but it's going to look like this. Okay, so I need to see everybody's eyes. Okay, I'm just going to pick a different number. I'm making this up. 652.478. And I'm going to write this in expanded form. Okay, I'm going to take this 6, and I see my decimal right here. This is the ones, this is the tens, this is the hundreds. Shake your head if that makes sense to you. So I'm going to put a parenthesis, and I'm going to say 6 times 100. Why did I put 100 right there? Because it's in the 100 spot. Plus, now I got to do the 5. 5 times, what place is this 5 in? 10. So I'm going to put times 10. Plus, 2 times, what place is this 2 in? The ones. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. And if you need to do 2 rows, that's perfectly fine, okay? Here's where it gets a little tricky. Now, I see my decimal. I see 1 place to the right of the decimal. Go back to your cheat sheet. Here's your decimal. What's 1 place to the right of the decimal? The tenths. So that 4 is in the 10th spot. Here's where it looks different. And I showed you this yesterday. 4 times, and remember, we're writing it like a fraction. Do you remember this from yesterday? 1/10. Shake your head. We did this yesterday. Plus, that 7 is, here's my decimal, 2 places over. Decimal, 2 places over is the hundredths. So that would be 7 times, and I'm writing that like a fraction, 100ths. Plus 8 times, if this is the tenths, this is the hundredths. What's this in? The thousand. So it would be 8 times 1/1000. So if that is how you do that, isn't this 1, 2, 3 digits before the decimal and 1, 2, 3 digits after? Yeah. 1, 2, 3 digits before the decimal, 1, 2, 3 digits after. It's the same exact thing, just different numbers. Okay, got it? Say got it. That's how you do number 2. Now, on number 3, you're going backwards. They gave you the expanded form. They want you to go back and write it like what? What does standard form mean? What does that mean? The Plano number. They want a Plano number. So you're going to have to give me a number here. You're going to have to turn this into what this looks like. I want you to look at number 4. This is a little tricky. So let's look at number 4, and I want you to write this on scrap paper. On scrap paper, I want you to write 1. But then do you remember yesterday I told you you can add zeros at the end of the decimal and you can take zeros away at the end of the decimal? Do you remember I told you that yesterday? Yeah. So this is what I want you to do to the 1. I want you to put a decimal after the 1, and I want you to put 3 zeros at the end of that. And I think it'll make sense. Eric, you need to write that. When I say write, this is on scrap paper. When I say write on scrap paper, that's what I mean. So that takes care of the 1. Now look at this, 0.9. When you're adding decimals, and we haven't done this yet, but when you're adding decimals, look at me, everybody. The decimals have to line up right on top of each other. So 0.9, that means my decimal has to go right here. So 0.9, and see these blanks right here? I don't like these blanks. Look, everybody. See these blanks right here? I don't like these blanks. Look what I'm going to add. Zeros. You need to do that too. What's my next number? 0.08. 0.08. And look, my decimals are all lined up. You need to write it just like me. And I'm adding a 0 at the end of that because I can. Ms. Caulfield gave me permission to do that yesterday. And now the last one, 0.001. 0.001. Now, does it make sense why I added those decimals and zeros to 1 now? Because it lined up with the biggest decimal number. So put a plus sign. Okay, now I'm not going to do this for you, but you're going to do it in a minute. Hey, look up here for a minute. You're going to do it in a minute on your own, but I'm going to talk you through it real quick. All eyes up here. You're going to add down, 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 and you're going to bring your decimal point straight down. Do that right now. Because if your answer doesn't end in a decimal, it better. So on your scrap paper, what number is this? Number 4? I want you to write this on your scrap paper. Number 4. See how I put a number 4 up there? And in a minute, when I go sit down, y'all will know where to look on your scrap paper for number 4 now. Okay, does that make sense? Don't work ahead. Okay, number 6, 7, and 8. Write 2 decimals, circle that are equivalent to the given decimal. Do you remember yesterday I told you you can add zeros or you can take zeros away? So on number 6, I'll do number 6 for you. Bentley, what would you do on number 6? Do you want to add some zeros or do you want to take some zeros away? Okay, what's your first answer then? She says say it again. 5.30 is her first answer. I like it. She can do that. She took 1 0 away. Why didn't you write that? We just gave you an answer. Kiara, what about another answer that would go for that? Because you gotta have 2. She just said 5.3. She took all the zeros away, which is perfectly fine. Okay, so that's how you do 6, 7, 8, and 9. Got it? Say got it. Okay, turn your paper over. Okay, number 10. Shade the models to show that 0.7 and 0.70 are equivalent. Well, let's just start right this. Take your pencil, darken this decimal, go over 1 place. On your scrap paper, find your decimal, go over 1 place. What did that land in? 7 what? Tenths. Write that over here to the side like a fraction. Now, do you remember yesterday? I told you a way to say a fraction. I said the top number out of the bottom number. Do you remember us doing that yesterday? So say this. 7 out of 10. How many little columns do you think are right here? 10. How many do you think you're going to shade? 7 out of 10. Not right now. Do it in a minute. Not right now. Do it in a minute. Okay? On this, take your decimal. Darken it. Go over 2 places. Find your decimal on your cheat sheet. Go over 2 places. Where did I land? In the hundreds. So how would I write this like a fraction? 70 out of 100. How many squares do you think there are right here? 100. How many squares do you think you're going to shade? 70 out of 100. You're so smart. Oh my gosh, number 11. Marco has a piece of wood that measures this times this times this. How can this measurement be written as a, what does this say right here? Decimal. Underline that word. In other words, I want the Plano number. I don't care about this. So when you hear tenths, and you hear hundredths, and you hear thousandths, what do you know that's on the other side of? A decimal. So I'll get you started. Boom. I'll get you started. I'm not doing it for you. And I heard all the way to the, what? Thousandths? How many blanks would that be? 3. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, now in a minute you're going to fill that out. Number 12. Don't work ahead because you'll have plenty of time in class to work on it. Number 12 says, there are 275 people in the movie theater. The same number of people are seated in each of the 5 different sections of the theater. How many people are seated in each section? Okay, I'm going to tell you something right off the bat that you're going to use so much. I'm going to tell you why this is division. Because division, are you looking at me, Bentley? Division is always going to give you the big number first, which it did, and it's going to want you to split the big number up some way. So get in your mind that we're at, where are we at? The movies. And I got all these people, and it's my job to put some over here in this section. Some's going to go over here in this section. Some's going to go over here in this section. And how many sections do I have? 5. What am I doing with the people? I'm splitting them up, aren't I? Or I'm dividing them up. That's how I know that this is division. So it's been a while since you've done division, so I'll help you. So how many people do I have?
2.
That goes under the hood. Write this on your scrap paper. And how many sections am I putting you in?
5.
5. So far, your paper should look just like my paper. Now we got to decide where we put our first answer. So I kind of make this goofy, but I think it'll make sense. If I'm 5, look at me, everybody, and I'm on a diving board. If I'm 5, can I dive into a 2? Is there enough space for me if I dive into a 2?
Yeah.
I'm 5. I can't fit into a 2. Can I fit into a 27 though?
Yes.
So my answer is going to go right here on top of 27. Well, let's count by 5s. 5, 10, 50. Can I get closer?
Yes.
20. Can I get closer?
Yes.
25. Can I get closer?
No.
Let's try. What would the next one be?
30.
30. That's too much, isn't it? So it's only 5 times. Look where I'm putting my 5. On top of the 7, not on top of the 2. I wouldn't fit. And what did y'all tell me 5 times 5 was?
25.
So far, your paper should look just like my paper. Now we're going to subtract. 7 minus 5 would be 2. And 2 minus 2 is nothing. I usually don't put anything there. Okay, I usually leave that blank. Now I'm going to bring this 5 down. Draw your arrow and bring that 5 down. Now I'm still on that diving board. I'm a 5. This time I'm diving this way. Can 5 go into 25?
Yes.
Exactly how many times?
5.
5 times evenly. And I like to say that, so I want you to say that too. 5 times evenly. Say it. 5 times evenly. So if 5 times 5 is exactly 25, Eric, watch. I don't like to do this. I don't like to put minus 25 and get a 0. I already knew it went in there evenly. Are you with me? So I usually don't do that. There's your answer. 55 people in each section. 55 people in each section. Do you have that written? Okay, I think you can do 13. Let's look at 14. Nico spent $8.75 on lunch. Why don't you come out to the side and write that? $8.75 on lunch. Now you got to look over here at this lunch menu, okay? This is going to make us all hungry, isn't it? You got to look over at this lunch menu. And you have to pick, help me, how many items are you going to pick? 2. Circle that. Items did he buy? Now you've got to decide. You've got to play a little bit on your scrap paper. Let me see your eyes. You got to decide, maybe it's hamburger and chef salad. If you add those 2 together right off the bat and you get $8.75, ding, 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 you got the right answer. But if those don't add up to $8.75, then that's not right. Maybe it's hamburger and tuna sandwich. If those add up together, like watch, then you got the right answer. But if they don't, maybe it's hamburger and pizza. Or maybe it's chef salad and pizza. Or maybe it's tuna and pizza. I don't know. You got to figure out the 2 items though, okay? In a minute. Number 15. Anthony drew, what does this say right here?
Pentagon.
What's a pentagon? What kind of shape? Which one of those is a pentagon? How do you know that? It has 5 sides, doesn't it? Yeah, pent means 5. And each side measures, what is this right here? 6 inches. So I'm going to go on the pink one, and I'm going to put 6 on each one of these. Xander, I just wrote something. You need to do that too. Now I'm on Carol. What did Carol draw? She drew a hexagon. How many sides does a hexagon have?
8.
Okay, time. It can't be 8 because doesn't an octopus have 8 legs? So what shape would a octagon be? An 8 side.
8.
But this is 6. Does this say oct? It says hex. So hex is 6. 6-sided, and each side measures, what does this say? 5 inches. So come over to this side and do 5 inches. Now, we're on the word which. Get your pencil on the word which so you know where we're at. Which shape has a greater, what does this word right here say? Perimeter. Somebody refresh my memory. What does perimeter mean to do? What are we going to do, Cooper?
You got it. I don't know if they find the area around it.
Not the perimeter around it. So you're going to have to add, watch me, because I'm not helping you on this, because I'm giving you the answer right here. Watch, Sander. You're going to have to add all this one up. And you're going to have to add all this one up. And then you're going to tell me which one is greater. Okay, got it? Say got it. Okay, last one. We did this exact thing yesterday. We put this together and made a number, and then we picked 2 of these from this box that fit our number. Okay, now let's stop for a minute. When you hear 100, just plain old 100, look up here, everybody look at me. When you just hear 100, where do you know that is? Is that before the decimal or is that after the decimal? If you just hear 100, Luke? 100. 100 would be before. What's after? Hundreds. That's not hundreds. What's that? That's just plain old 100. So that's here. Now when you hear tenths and hundredths, where's that going to be? After the decimal. So I'm giving you a huge hint. You're going to have some numbers before the decimal. Shake your head. And you're going to have some numbers after the decimal. And you're going to have to put that all into one big number. And there's 2 of these that fit that. Okay, now stop for a minute. Look up here. Okay, yesterday I told you Practice Buddies 1-3 was due. Some of y'all didn't do them. And I don't know why. And I've already had some moms email me and ask why their student got a 0. Some of y'all got a 0 on 1-3. I don't know why you didn't do 1-3. I need you to do this for homework. This was homework last night, okay? Got it? Say got it. What are we on today now? 1-4. So you got to do page 27 and 28. Then you've got to go right to your Chromebook and you've got to do Practice Buddies 1-4. But what if you don't get finished today with those?
It's homework.
Is it? It might be tonight if you have time. It might be tomorrow if you have time. It might be Thursday if you have time. But when is that for sure due? When is that grade going in the grade book? Friday. And if you don't have that done by Friday first thing, then that's a 0. Okay? Okay, go.
But do the number 1.
Yeah, you know them all. What?